Maybe you hear the sound of the bell in your high school or your primary school, but at university we don't have bell ring, right? So it creates some confusion. As you can guess, today we will talk about the English in classroom. Okay? How can you use English in your classroom? But first, quiero café con leche, por favor?
You are welcome.
Gracias. Okay. First of all, think about that this is the first day of school and you need to introduce yourself. And you meet with your new teacher. And your teacher asks you, please introduce yourself. How can you introduce yourself? Do you have any idea? Okay, let's have a look at it. As I've reviewed, there's not that much source that is very comprehensive, covers everything that you may need to use in the classroom. So I decided to take this video recording. You can find very useful expressions. And the first one, talking about yourself. This is your turn to introduce yourself. And first, of course, you need to talk about your name. And as you can remember from the previous videos, you need to say I am or my names. Instead of my name is in a divided way, please say my names. Okay? It creates a very good first impression in terms of your English level. And we always want to have to trace a good first impression, right? And the second one is my father and my mother's job. Instead of saying in a long sentence as it is asked, my mother's job is blah blah, my father's job is blah blah, it is better to say my mother is and my father is and their job title, okay? If they are retired, please don't forget to add the job title. Like, let me give you an example. My father is a retired engineer and my father is a teacher, for example. And do you remember have structure? As I have told you, have got. Don't use it. It is grammatically true, but have on its own shows a great proficiency of English. For example, you can say, instead of saying I have got 2 sisters or I have got a brother or I am alone, please say I have 2 brothers, I have a sister, okay? And talking about your hobbies, I like structures, okay? And I prefer structures also okay to use. Don't make it too much complex. I like blah blah. And don't forget that reading book is not a hobby, right? It is very evident. I like playing piano, for example, as you can see from the beginning of the video. Okay, now let's think about that. You're talking with your friends and it's time to have the course. And your teacher comes, talks, and you didn't understand what she or he has said. Okay? All of us tend to ask the question to our friends, but please feel free to ask your teacher if you don't understand or if you miss a point. So if you couldn't catch what your teacher has said, you can say, can you repeat that again, please? Professor or teacher, I'm sorry, I couldn't catch. Could you repeat that again, please? And it is better to say which part you didn't understand or you didn't catch, okay? Instead of saying I totally didn't understand what you all said, it is better to indicate the part that you didn't understand. Let me give you an example. Professor, could you repeat the last part, please? Could you repeat what you have just said, please? And if you need more details to understand, you can easily say, can you explain that, please? Can you explain that again? As you can see, we add please at the end of each sentence or at the end of each question to make it more kind. And you feel free to use please at the end of each question. And there's another keyword here, clarify. Do you know what does it mean? Can you clarify that, please? Can you clarify that for me, please? Or, okay, clarify means giving details, examples to make your comprehension better. And you can easily ask for an example. Could structure. Please visit the linkers part, okay? We have talked about could, may, and might. Could you give us an example? Okay? Could you give us an example, or could you use it in a sentence? If you're learning a word and don't know what does it mean, you can ask your teacher to give an example or use it in a sentence. Just saying, could you use it in a sentence, or how can we make use of it? Okay? How can you make use of it? You will remember it in math class, right? Mathematics class. We always ask this question. Teacher, we are learning all the things, all the stuff, but how can we make use of it in the real life? Yes, I start to understand how it is used, but if you didn't, you can ask this question. And let's talk about the questions that you can take advantage of it in the classrooms, okay? Please ask these questions. You know it and you know how to ask right now. From now on, please start using them in the classroom, because the best way to learn English is to use it, okay? Please use this information. And the questions that you can use. The first one is, if the teacher is speaking very slowly or silently and you didn't understand what she or he has said, feel free to say it. It depends on the teacher's style, you know, but can you speak louder, please? Okay? It means increase your volume of your speech. And the second one, if you didn't understand the word's meaning, instead of talking with your friend, please ask your teacher. Teacher, professor, what does that word mean? And you know, pronunciation is everything. It changes the meaning even, okay? Please remember the example sheep and sheep. Their pronunciation is very close, but it makes a difference in terms of the meaning. And you can ask, how do you say or how do you pronounce blah blah in English or another language that you're learning? Let's say Spanish, okay? How do you say? ¿Cómo se pronuncia in Spanish, I think? I don't know. How do you say cat in English? Please be careful about the tense. We use simple present tense, okay? And you know, we always have projects, assignments, and general term that is used for homeworks, the homeworks, assignments. It is task. Task is a general name for all of it, okay? So you can ask the time, the last time that you can give your homework, your task. How could you ask this question to your teacher? Do you have any idea? Teacher, what is the deadline for the task, for the project, okay? For the poster maybe. I don't know which assignment your teacher is using. Or you missed the page. The teacher has a traditional style and she comes to the classroom and said, please open your books, page blah blah blah. And you forgot. What's the page? You can ask to your friends, of course, but think about that, you need to ask to your teacher. How could you ask? What page are we on? Okay? What page are we on? On preposition is used at the end. And the second alternative is, what page is it, please? What page is it, please? And in primary level or in the lower levels, some students ask this question to their teachers. Teacher, do we have to write this down? Or do we have to take notes? Do we have to copy the board? Maybe, okay? So you can ask this question if you are not sure about you need to take note or not. Do we have to write this down? Write down is a phrasal verb that is used in this question. And the question 7, should we take out our phones or our notebooks? Notebooks is the same as the former question. Do we have to write this down? Kind of. But should we take out our phones? Some teachers have the traditional style. They prefer just lecturing, explaining, telling all the details that I'm not vote for. But some teachers in the 21st century that they need to do it, they take advantage of technology in the classroom. And this question is very useful for you. So, should we take out our phones, teacher? Take out phrasal verb. Please note that down. And the last question is, think about that. This is an activity or an homework. And is it group work? Do you need to do it with a lot of people or a small group of people or with your friends or alone? You can ask this question. If you're working more than 2 people, it is a group work as its name implies. If you're working with just one of your friends, it is pair work. And if you're working alone, it is individual, okay? So you can ask, teacher, is it pair work or individual? So it means, do I have to work with my friend, one of my friends, or alone? Okay? By the way, working in pairs contributes a lot. Okay, after the questions, let's talk about how to ask for permission. Yes, we need to do it, okay? Please do it. Ask for permission. It is very important. It shows your respect. The first one is, if you finish your work earlier, you can ask to submit it earlier. How could you ask that? Can I submit my assignment? Feel free to use this question. Can I submit my assignment earlier? Or, okay? Or, as an extra, if you're late, if you're a bit lazy person, or you have some things to do and you're late, please ask this question to your teacher beforehand. Teacher, there's this kind of a problem and blah blah, state the problem, and can I submit my assignment a bit late? Does it create a problem? Would you mind if I do it? Okay? Can I submit my assignment earlier or late? And we all need feedback. Reflection is very important. And one of them is a self-reflection. It means, what does it mean? Criticizing yourself about your strengths, your weaknesses, the things you are improved, you are in the process of improving, okay? And you need feedback to do it better. Because sometimes the other people may evaluate us in a better way. So you can ask, can I get feedback from you, teacher, professor? Can I get feedback from you? And to get feedback, sometimes the break times are not that enough. It is just 10 minutes is not enough for you, for example. So, the professors at the university, they have an office time. Or English language schools, they have the office time. And office time means, it doesn't mean they are free, they don't have any work, but it means that they have a kind of separated time. So, you may need to see your professor in her office time. So please ask the time. Can I see you in your office time? Or can I see you in the office? Or you can ask the time also to make it clear. When is your office time, professor? Okay? Can I see you in your office time? And you're late. And the lesson has already started. You knock the door, knock knock, and the question is, yes, you're right. Can I come in? No, not can. May I come in? There is a difference between may and can. We will talk about it. May I come in? And your teacher may answer it, yes, please, or no, maybe. It depends on the teacher's style as well. And 5, can we use our phones for the task? Okay? As I mentioned, some teachers take advantage of the technology in the classroom. Can we use our phones for the task? And sometimes there is a reading assignment and you have unknown vocabulary, so much unknown vocabulary. And you may have hard times to deal with them. And it affects your comprehension. So maybe you can ask to your teacher, not to your friends, because she or he doesn't have an answer for this question. Teacher, can we check out the dictionary meanings for the unknown vocabulary? Or can we check out the dictionary? Check out phrasal verb is used, okay? Here, as you may understand. And you know, there are a lot of variables that affects our comprehension or concentration, and one of them is the light, okay? Sometimes there's a presentation and the light is on, so you need to switch off it. The phrasal verb is switch on and switch off. Switch on means open, switch off means close. Can I switch on the lights? Or can I switch off the lights? Okay? And the other one is the second variable that affects your concentration, as it is evident, is, what is it? It is the air, fresh air, okay? If it is too hot or it is too cold, it affects your concentration. So, we always play with the windows. Please ask to your teacher or your friends, would you mind if I open the window? Or, would you mind if I close the window? Okay? Would you mind structure? We use it a lot. Would you mind means if it creates any problem for you? Very kind way to use. Please use it in the classroom. And we use this example a lot. And the other one is, young learners do it a lot. As I have observed and as I have listened to from my friends, from the teachers, they have an excuse to go out. What is this excuse? Do you know? They always ask to go to toilet. They always have a toilet need, okay? So, may I go to the toilet? They ask this question a lot. This is an excuse for them, sometimes, of course. So you can ask this question, but instead of saying, may I go to toilet? You can also say, may I go to bathroom? Not bedroom, bathroom, okay? Please be careful about pronunciation. Sound. Please visit my dental sounds, how to pronounce with dental sounds video, okay? The first video, I guess. And also instead of saying, this is more proficient, you can say, may I go out, please? At university level, sometimes you don't need to explain all the details in such, okay? Please just say, may I go out, please, madam? Instead of going without saying anything. It is better. It is very kind. And you are volunteer for the task on the board. You want to solve the problem. You want to make a presentation. So you can ask, teacher, may I come to the board, or can I go to the board? Come or go. The two words are possible and acceptable. And don't forget that, I forgot to say it, but please make the clear distinction between may and can, okay? They are all used to ask for permission, but let me share one of my memories. I was in ELS class, English language school. I have started my English language school in upper level, and one of my friends asked, really one of my friends, it was not me, asked to the teacher, teacher, can I go to the toilet? The teacher said, you can, but you may not. And she didn't understand, we didn't understand. We tried to understand it. And he said, yes, you can, because you have food, you can run, you can walk, but you may not. So it means, yes, you can. You have a physical ability to do something. The can is used for abilities, you know. But you may not, because I don't give the permission to do it to you. Okay. So may is better. May I go out? May I go to toilet? And we have talked about can I come or can I go to the board? Now, think about that. You're out of time. The teacher, the class time is already over. Has already over, and you need to take a break and take a breath, okay? How would you ask to the teacher? You need to do it because time is very important and pacing of the course is very important. You can easily feel free to ask this question to your teachers. Of course, their style is different, but teacher, can we take a break? Or will we take a break? I remember my undergraduate education times, I always ask this question to the teachers. We always do it. There's a volunteer and she or he asks this question. She's responsible for asking this question to the teacher. Teacher, will we take a break or can we take a break? Okay? Can, you can use can here, and will structure because will is okay to use in this context. And at the end of the ask for a permission, the last question is can be. Also, young learners ask this question a lot. Teacher, can we pack our things now? Pack, you have a backpack. And can we pack? Because you will catch the bus, school bus, and go home, maybe, or you will take a break. So can we pack our things now? And your teacher may say, yes, please, or no, the class has not finished yet. Okay? The bell isn't ringing yet. Okay? So we have talked about ask for a permission. Now let's talk about, in the last part, useful expressions. Yes, let's talk about useful expressions. We have talked about asking for a permission, and now these are the useful expressions. By the way, while talking about the previous sections, I have given an example for the useful expressions, but I have some specific ones here. The first one is when your teacher is taking the attendance. Attendance is very important for some teachers, you know. How would you respond? I think all of you know it today. If you are here. If you're absent, you cannot say absent, of course. But if your teacher is asking for someone, other one, you can say absent. Elif is absent today, teacher. I'm here, okay? Here and absent. Or present. Instead of saying here, present has the same meaning. The second one is, excuse me, teacher or professor, I'll do my best. Why we use this structure? Excuse me, we have an excuse, okay? For example, you are late, you missed the homework, you didn't do the homework, for example. And your teacher may ask, when were you last time? Why your homework is not finished yet? The due date is over. So you can say, excuse me, teacher, I'll do my best next time, okay? And if you want to compensate the time, because you have lost time, the time is wasted for you, right? So you were not there, you were absent, you have some misunderstandings maybe, or you have lost information. So you may want to do it. It is a very kind way. I like this. You can say, teacher, I would like to make up for the lost time. Make up for the lost time. There's an example, do you know? Sometimes we can say, we break someone's heart, and we can ask this question to the person. How can I make the things up for you? Make it up for you. Make it up, tolerate, okay? So you can ask, I'd like to make up for the lost time. Or you can ask for a suggestion from your teacher. Maybe she or he has a very good suggestion for you, okay? So what would you suggest? In the following part, please ask this question. What would you suggest to me, for example? Or what would you suggest to me to make up for the lost time? Okay? So, as you can see, there's a sequence of the events. So first you say, excuse me, teacher, professor, I'll do my best next time. I'd like to make up for the lost time. What would you suggest to me? This is like a dialogue, coincidentally. And 5, your teacher may ask, Pınar, where were you last week? I didn't see you in the classroom. I didn't see your face, or I miss you. So you can say, I was sick, but okay now. Okay? This is a very good expression to use. And as I have always told you, as you also know it, world is open to misunderstandings. And some cultures have different reactions for misunderstandings. It depends on the cultural side, maybe. It is one of the variables. And some people don't feel the need to make it up for the things, okay? But some cultures have a style to, they want to tolerate, compensate it. So this is a better idea to use, I'm sorry, you misunderstand. Sometimes the person misunderstood, but sometimes it is you who creates the misunderstandings. So instead of saying you misunderstand, sometimes you can say I'm sorry, I am misunderstood, passive sentence, okay? Or I'm sorry you misunderstand, and in the following part please explain why you think like that, okay? So do you remember? I mean structure. In the previous videos, I've given this example as I remembered. So you can say, I'm sorry, you misunderstood, or I misunderstood. I mean, blah blah blah. I mean, I was late because blah blah blah, for example. And 7, sometimes, there's a class discussion. The teacher asks this question to the whole class. Class is discussing about the problem or the issue, and the teacher gives right to speak to your friend, one of your friends, and her or his idea is the same, just the same as yours. So when it is your turn, please don't use it as an excuse, but if it is the real situation, you can say, teacher, and teacher gives right to speak to you. Pınar, what do you think about that? And if the thing is the same with your friends, you can easily say, I was going to say the same thing. Actually, in Turkish or in our native language, we use it a lot, but if it comes to English, we sometimes feel hesitate if we use the right grammatical structure. But the message is clear here, okay? Feel free to use it. Teacher, I was going to say the same thing, okay? And please visit the agreements structures. I agree in a part that, in a way that, okay? And the last one could be excuse, okay? For example, you were absent last week. The last one is this. You were absent last week, and the reason why you were absent is you had a football match or you had a basketball training, okay? And your football teacher knows it, but your English teacher doesn't know it. And she asked this question, where were you last day, okay? And you can say, teacher, I have an excuse note from my basketball coach, or I have an excuse note from my musical teacher, because I had a teacher training or something else. If you have, the word is excuse note, okay? And the other one is, we are talking about health these days. This is what we're talking about these days. And you can say, teacher, I was ill last week, but I'm okay now, and I have a doctor's note. You went to the doctor prescribes you the medicine, and you rest, and then come to the school, and you can say, I have the doctor's note, because attendance is very important in some classes and for some teachers, for some professors, okay? You can use it. And at the end, I want to advise you to visit the agreements procedures. How to say I agree in a class discussion. How to say I don't agree with you in a class discussion. Okay? Maybe next time I can cover these kind of expressions. Yes, today we have talked about how to use English in the classrooms, and you have learned a lot. These are very life-saving in classroom settings. Please feel free to use all of them. If you have any questions, please let me know, because I care your comments and your advices to me. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. You will find extra practice at the end of the video. And please like or comment. Don't forget it if you would like to appreciate the effort. Okay? Thank you. Till we meet. See you.